You've been praying, fasting, binding and loosing, rebuking the devourer, and the balance is still negative. The bill due date still owns your calendar like a landlord who never sleeps. You worship on Sunday and watch overdraft alerts on Monday. You shout, Jehovah Jireh, in the sanctuary and whisper, please don't let them decline this card, in the checkout line. You love God, you give, you are sincere. But sincerity doesn't cancel statements, and you already know it. I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to tell you the truth that sets you free. Here's what nobody told you in church. Debt is not just a payment, it's a contract on your future. Every swipe is a signature that says, tomorrow belongs to someone else. And if you don't interrupt it, it becomes a language your house speaks fluently. Your kids are learning it right now. We'll just put it on the card. We'll figure it out later. Next tax refund will fix it. They're learning to make covenants with tomorrow because you made it normal today. Debt is not a private struggle. It's a generational transfer. If you don't break it with obedient action, you hand them the keys to the same cage. Meanwhile, the coworker who never quotes a verse, never posted a scripture meme, just paid off a car early and has a plan for the next 5 years. They're not smarter than you. They're not more loved than you. They have a budget and margin. They sat down and counted. And you're sitting there wondering if God forgot your address because you prayed longer. Hear me, I'm not talking about prosperity gospel. I'm not preaching sow a seed and forget discipline. That's counterfeit. Prayer is real. Giving is real. That's page 1. But if you stop on page 1, you never finish the book. I'm waiting on God. No, God is waiting on you. He doesn't reward wishes. He rewards obedience. You asked for a breakthrough. God already answered that prayer in His Word with a blueprint you can execute, not vague inspiration, a system, a sequence. We are going to kill debt on purpose, step by step. Budget, close the leaks, list the debts, attack them in order, increase capacity, build a wall so crisis can't drag you back, then move from survival to multiplication so your children inherit freedom instead of payments. That starts tonight, not after the holidays, not when you feel led. Obedience doesn't wait for better feelings. It moves when truth speaks. Decide right now, no more renting tomorrow, no more normalizing slavery in your living room. You will not hand chains to your children wrapped in birthday paper and call it love. You will hand them clarity, skill, margin, and a last name that means freedom. If you're tired of being the most prayerful person in the room and still the most broke, stay here. Open your hands. Open your eyes. We're about to move from conviction to a war plan. Pick up a pen. Pull your statements. Tonight, you begin. Listen to me. You asked for a word about your money. I already spoke. In Proverbs, in the law, in the mouth of Jesus. You're not waiting on a new prophecy. You're avoiding old instructions. The Bible mentions money over 2,000 times. Not because I wanted you to wallpaper your kitchen with verses, but because I gave you a manual, not a quote book, a blueprint, system, not slogans. Orders, not options. Remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the power to get wealth. Deuteronomy 8:18. Power, capacity, not lottery tickets. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. Proverbs 21:5. Plans, not vibes. Which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost? Luke 14:28. Jesus taught you to budget, and James already settled the argument. Faith without works is dead. James 2:17. Hear me. A dead faith will not produce a living income. Prayer that won't pick up a pen is not faith, it's performance. I am not mocking your tears. I am telling you tears don't balance spreadsheets. Obedience does. I love you enough to correct you. Scripture does not just comfort you, it corrects you, line by line, habit by habit. This is why you keep shouting over the same cycle. You don't have a blessing problem, you have an obedience problem. Stop asking me to rebuke a devourer you keep funding with undisciplined decisions. Self-control is a fruit of my spirit. It's also a budget category. Integrity is not just honesty on your taxes. It is telling your dollars the truth about their assignment. Here's how this is going to work from now on. Every step I give you will be anchored in a verse, interpreted for clarity, translated into a modern instruction, and delivered as a command with a deadline. Verse to interpretation to instruction to deadline, not someday, tonight. You will see Luke 14:28 and you will sit down and count on paper before 10 p.m. You will hear Proverbs 21:5 and you will write a plan for your next paycheck before it arrives. You will read Proverbs 22:7 and you will list every debt by name, balance, minimum before you sleep. This is your liturgy now, not mystical, practical, holy. I am not here to shame you. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are not destined to be broke, but you are responsible. I have already opened the way. I gave you power, principles, and patterns. I am ready to multiply oil, but I will not fill imaginary jars. So choose another prayer session asking for what I already answered, or an obedient session applying what I already said. Close the excuses, open the notebook. I have spoken. Now move. Hear me. Proverbs already named the chain. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. Proverbs 22:7. Not partner, not points member, slave. You may not wear iron on your wrists, but the contract sits on your calendar and calls you at dinner time. Debt is a master with a quiet voice and a loud due date. It doesn't ask how you feel. It tells you where your money goes and how fast you have to move. This is not metaphor to make you sad. It is diagnosis to make you sober. If you don't call it what I called it, you will continue to treat it like a lifestyle accessory instead of a jailer. Look at how slavery looks modern. Minimum payments are a leash, the illusion of progress while the chain stays tight. Interest is rent you pay on yesterday's impulse. Late fees are the whip crack that punishes your delay. Subscription traps bleed you slowly for things you forgot you even needed. Car notes park a shackle in your driveway and call it status. Payday cycles sell next Friday at a discount to survive this Friday. And the cruelest part? Your time is owned. You wake up earlier, stay up later, pick up extra shifts, not to build a future, but to satisfy a master's appetite. That's not freedom. That's servitude with Wi-Fi. And this is the inheritance you are unintentionally crafting. Not land, not wisdom, not a name that opens doors. You wrap stress in secrecy and pass it down like an heirloom. Don't tell your father I ordered it. Hide that bill. We'll figure it out later. Your children pay before they're grown. They pay in the atmosphere. Tight voices at bedtime, split brows over the budget that doesn't exist. Two grown people avoiding eye contact because of a notification. They pay in opportunities, summer camps skipped, tutors postponed, field trips declined, sports dropped mid-season because the tires blew and the card is maxed. They pay instability, moving schools because rent jumped and you didn't have margin, switching churches because gas money is thin, friendships cut off by zip codes you can't afford to keep. They hear, we can't afford it, so often it becomes an identity, not a temporary limitation, a permanent label. Your house learns a language. Every home does. Yours has been bilingual, worship on Sunday, worry on Monday. You sing about deliverance and then you catechize your children in debt speak. Just put it on the card. Next refund will fix it. Minimum is fine. That is liturgy too. Repeated words, shaping souls, teaching them which altar to bow at. Do you hear me? Debt isn't just a number, it's a master, and your house will speak its name until you replace it. But chains are learned, which means chains can be unlearned. If your home learned just put it on the card, your home can learn we wait, we plan, we pay. Starting now, adopt a new household law. Say it out loud at the table tonight with Proverbs 22:7, open. In this house we refuse slavery. We do not borrow for wants. We tell the truth about money. We plan before we spend. We celebrate patience. We honor margin. We expose secrecy and replace it with clarity. Write it, post it on the fridge. Teach it like you teach bedtime prayers. Correct slips the way you'd correct lies, because debt speak is a lie about who you are. You are not property of a lender. You belong to me. And when you replace the language, the master loses power. This is how we begin. Name the chain. Break its vocabulary. Prepare to execute the plan I already gave you. Tonight. Step 1. Sit down and count. Not a vibe, not a hope, a seat, a pencil, a number. Jesus himself said it. Which of you, intending to build a tower, does not sit down first and count the cost, lest, after he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish, all who see begin to mock? Luke 14:28-30. Hear me. Budgeting is not optional finance nerd stuff. It is obedience to a red-letter instruction. Counting is not a lack of faith. Counting is faith wearing glasses. A written budget is not control, it's clarity, and clarity is the doorway to freedom. Tonight, before you sleep, you will sit down and count. Pull your bank statements, your card statements, your cash receipts. Write down every stream of income by date and amount. Then, for the next 30 days, you will write down every single expense, every single thing: gum, apps, coffee, auto renewals, late night orders. If it's not written, it's not real. You can't rebuke what you refuse to reveal. Secrecy is where debt multiplies. Drag it into the light. Put ink on it. Confession looks like numbers on paper. Now build a simple starter budget. Start with necessities, shelter, utilities, basic food, transportation, insurance. Not entertainment disguised as self-care. Not upgrades disguised as needs. Keep it honest. Next, minimum debt payments on every account. No extra yet. We'll attack in order soon. Then giving, conviction-led, not denial-led. You don't buy obedience with dollars, but you also don't use faith as a mask for mismanagement. Decide your giving in prayer and put it in the plan on purpose so it's not emotional, it's intentional. After that, a savings starter, small and sacred. $25 a paycheck if that's where you are. Park it in a separate account labeled seed/buffer to train your hands to keep some. The wall will come later. Right now, you are building the habit. Finally, discretionary, everything else that isn't essential. If money remains, it gets a name. If there is no money, there is no discretionary. Every dollar gets an assignment before the month begins. Unassigned dollars defect. Stop the spiritualized avoidance. God will provide is true. Using it to avoid sitting down to count is false. I provide seed to the sower. I don't count for the avoider. Faith without this work is dead, and dead faith cannot produce a living budget. You are not too anointed to add. You are not too prophetic to total. Your household needs a map, not another memory verse taped to a leaking pipe. This is your map. You cannot build a debt kill plan without one. You cannot snowball chaos. Order precedes overflow. So tonight, gather the family for 5 minutes. Pray short, count long. Write the plan on paper or a simple sheet on your phone and post the totals where they can be seen. Put the 30-day expense log on the fridge with a pen tied to it. When you spend, you write. When you forget, you correct. Obedience looks like ink. Clarity looks like categories. Freedom starts here, at the table, with Jesus' command obeyed, the numbers finally telling the truth. Now sit down and count. Step 2, close the leaks. A man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. Proverbs 25:28. Hear me. Without self-control, your money has no walls. It doesn't matter how much comes in. Without walls, enemies stroll in and stroll out with your peace. Haggai already described your paycheck. You earn wages, but you put them into a bag with holes. Haggai 1:6. And you're on your knees asking for overflow while funding the holes. You don't pray for rain with the roof off. Fix the roof first. Close the leaks. Name them. Food delivery that turns a $12 meal into $33 with fees and tips. Subscriptions you forgot. Streaming you don't watch. Fitness apps you don't open. Trials that never ended. Impulse Amazon Buy Now has become Bow Now, your thumb and altar. Convenient spending, gas station snacks, last-minute store runs because you didn't plan, $7 coffees that preach a daily sermon, I deserve it, lifestyle inflation, new phone because the camera is slightly better, data plan you don't need, wardrobe refresh every season to impress people who aren't paying your bills, auto renewals, in-app add-ons, credit card annual fees for perks you never use, tiny leaks daily, monthly bondage quietly. Here's what obedience looks like. Tonight, not next pay period, you run a 30-minute leak hunt. Open your statements, highlight every recurring charge, cancel, downgrade, or pause. Now, log into your App Store or Google Play subscriptions. Terminate everything you haven't used in 30 days. Pick one streaming service, maybe two. The rest, gone until you're free. Turn off one-click ordering. Delete saved cards from shopping sites. Uninstall food delivery apps for 90 days. Use the Do Not Disturb on your desires. A 24-hour rule on every non-essential. If it's over $100, make it a 7-day rule. Move auto pay dates to align with your budgeted plan, not their convenience. If your bank charges nonsense fees, switch banks this month. This is not harsh. This is surgery. Bleeding stops when the cut is closed, not when the patient feels ready. Replace the leaks with walls and habits. Meal plan every Sunday night. Simple, repeatable, not gourmet Olympics. Cook once, eat twice. Pack lunches, brew coffee at home. Buy beans, not debt. Shop with a list and eat before you go. Use cash envelopes or a separate debit card labeled discretionary. Fund it on payday, and when it's gone, the fun is done. No exceptions, no one more swipe. Keep a water bottle so thirst doesn't become $3 a day. Keep a snack in the car so hunger doesn't cost $18 at a drive-thru. And speak out loud the new rule at the cart. Is this a need, a want, or a weakness? If it's the last two, it waits. Understand the why. This is not deprivation, it's defense. Self-control is spiritual warfare. The Lord detests dishonest scales, and impulse is a dishonest scale inside your heart. I will multiply oil, but I will not pour into a bag with holes. Close the gaps and watch what happens. Suddenly your income stops acting like a noisy crowd and starts moving like an army. Every dollar in formation, obeying the plan, advancing on slavery. Walls first, then war. Step 3. Inventory the enemy. Know well the condition of your flocks and give attention to your herds. Proverbs 27:23. In your century, flocks are accounts, herds are balances, and attention looks like a list, not a feeling, a list. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Order is worship. Order is warfare. Freedom is not vague. Freedom is a list with numbers and a plan of attack. Here's what obedience requires tonight. List every debt, credit cards, car notes, personal loans, medical collections, student loans, furniture store financing, buy now, pay later plans, afterpay, Klarna, Affirm, all of it. Family IOUs you've been meaning to get to. If you owe it, it's on the paper. For each one, write creditor name, current balance, minimum payment, interest rate, due date. Add status, current, late, collections. No rounding to make yourself feel better. No hiding the one that scares you. Drag it all into the light. I am not shaming you. I am giving you sight. Confusion is not your portion. I am not the author of confusion, but of peace. 1 Corinthians 14:33. Peace begins when numbers tell the truth. Now, put the list in order. Smallest balance to largest balance. Not highest interest. Smallest balance. Here's why. You are not just moving math, you are moving a human heart with habits. The debt avalanche, highest interest first, looks wise on paper, and for a tiny percentage of people it works. But you haven't had a math problem, you've had a momentum problem. The snowball is a behavior-shaping weapon. Smallest to largest creates early wins, speed, and proof that obedience works. It trains your hands to finish. It puts fuel in your soul. It turns someday into we just knocked one out this month. And once the first is gone, that payment rolls to the next, and the next, compounding obedience. Do not despise the order. Joseph didn't save Egypt with vibes. He made a plan and followed a sequence. Years of storing, then years of distribution. Genesis 41. Nehemiah didn't rebuild a wall with enthusiasm. He assigned sections by family, gate by gate, stone by stone. Nehemiah 3. I move through order. Chaos is expensive. Organization is stewardship. When you number the enemy, you shrink its power. When you number your debts, you reclaim authority over them. Make it visible. Put the list where your eyes can't avoid it. The fridge, the inside of the front door, the lock screen of your phone. Draw a small checkbox next to each debt. You will check them off one by one. Read the list aloud at the table. In this house, we attack in order. Pray briefly over it, then stop praying and start preparing. This is not a mood. This is a war plan. You've built the budget. You've closed the leaks. Now you know the battlefield and its map. Next, we choose the first target, the smallest balance, and we strike. Minimums on everything, maximum on one. Every freed dollar from leaks becomes ammunition. No negotiation with slavery. Sequence over feeling. Watch what happens when obedience starts rolling downhill. Snow becomes an avalanche by momentum. But it starts as a snowball you pack with your own hands tonight. Here is where talk becomes torque. Minimums on everything, maximum on one. That is the rule. Not feelings, not I'll see what's left. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. Proverbs 21:5. And a plan is a sequence you obey even when you're tired. Pay the minimum on every single debt to stay current. Then take every extra dollar you found by counting and closing leaks and throw it without mercy at the smallest balance. When that one dies, you do not celebrate by loosening the belt. You roll the entire payment you were making, its minimum and all extra, down the hill onto the next smallest. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Debt dies when you stop negotiating with it and start executing a sequence. Deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hunter, Proverbs 6:5. Run. This is spiritual discipline, not just math. Consistency is worship. Little by little becomes much because you honored me with order. He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. Every payday, same move. Minimums on all, maximum on one. Your kids will hear a new liturgy at the table. This check, we attack card A. Next month, card A is gone. We roll its payment onto card B. Repeated obedience rewires a household. They will watch you check boxes, not make excuses, and their souls will learn finish. Now find fuel for the strike. Call your internet and phone providers. Ask for retention, negotiate down, remove extras, bundle for a lower rate. Shop your car insurance. 3 quotes. Raise deductibles responsibly. Drop rental and roadside if your situation allows. Add a telematics program for discounts. Ask for a cash pay discount on medical bills or set up a zero-interest payment plan. Turn thermostats a few degrees. Unplug the always-on vampires. Sell what sits. Extra furniture, electronics, designer bags, old phones. That workout bike you turned into a coat rack. List it tonight. Marketplace, offer up, Craigslist, pictures, price to move, cash only, debt kill money straight to the smallest balance. Stack short sprints of income. Overtime for a season. Pick up a weekend shift. Deliver their food, but don't buy it. Drive, shop, tutor, freelance, mow, babysit. 30 days of focused grind can erase a balance that's been mocking you for 3 years. Tax refund? Assign it on paper before it lands. 100% to the smallest debt. Work bonus? Same rule. Gifts? Same rule. Cash stuff the volatile categories, groceries, gas, personal, so overflow doesn't accidentally disappear. When the envelope is empty, the spending stops. That's not restriction. That's a fence around your freedom. Non-negotiables while you snowball. No new debt. Not one swipe. Cut up the cards or freeze them in a block of ice and put them in the back of the freezer. Access delayed becomes temptation defeated. Delete buy now, pay later apps. Remove saved cards from websites. Turn off store credit temptations. Credit is not income. It's chains dressed like convenience. Owe no one anything except to love one another. Romans 13:8. You are exiting slavery, not visiting it on weekends. This begins now, this pay period. Not after the wedding, not after the vacation you can't afford. Tonight, you decide the extra. By next month, that smallest target can fall. You will make the call, put it at 0. You will mark the checkbox, and your house will cheer because they watched obedience win. Then you roll the payment forward and go again. Sequence over mood, discipline over drama. Keep striking until the chain snaps, and don't stop swinging because it rattles. You are not weak, you are trained by repetition. Minimums on everything, maximum on one move. Step 5. Oil doesn't multiply in empty rooms. Capacity is faith with sleeves rolled up. Remember the widow in 2 Kings 4. Her creditor was coming to take her sons. She cried out, my prophet said, go borrow vessels from everywhere. Do not gather just a few, close the door. Pour, sell the oil, pay the debt, live on the rest. And the scripture records a terrifying line of clarity. When the vessels were full, the oil stopped. Why did it stop? Not because I ran out, because she ran out of jars. Hear me, I multiply what you pour, but your preparation sets the ceiling. No jars, no miracle. Few jars, small miracle. Many jars, overflow. I am not withholding. You are under-preparing. You cannot budget your way out of a forever income ceiling. Budgeting stops the leaks. The snowball kills the chains, but jars, capacity, determine the speed and the size. If the axe is dull and one does not sharpen the edge, then he must use more strength. But wisdom brings success. Ecclesiastes 10:10. You've been swinging a dull axe at oak trees and calling it warfare. Sharpen the blade. Do you see a man skillful in his work? He will stand before kings. Proverbs 22:29. Not vibes, skill. Here's what jars look like in your century. Skills, hours, pricing, certifications. A resume that actually sells you. Interview reps until answers flow. If you're employed, document your wins for 60 days. Revenue generated, costs reduced, problems solved. Then schedule the meeting and ask with numbers, not need. If they say no, with no growth path, aim that sharpened axe at a better paying tree. Update LinkedIn tonight. Apply to 5 roles a week. Mock interviews. YouTube question lists. Record yourself. Tighten your stories. If you're self-employed, raise unprofitable rates. Package your services. Require deposits. Put delivery dates and late fees in writing. Stop doing $200 work for $20 because you're afraid to say your price. Pick one marketable skill, not 5. 1. Project management, bookkeeping, medical coding, HVAC, CDL, welding, copywriting, UX, data analysis, Salesforce admin, social media ads, customer success. Then build a 30/60/90-day learning plan. 30 days. Foundation. Free YouTube playlists, library books, free code camp, Microsoft Learn, Salesforce Trailhead, HubSpot Academy. Produce one small portfolio piece or practice project. 60 days. Intermediate. 2 more projects. Volunteer for a nonprofit or church to get real reps. Ask for feedback from someone doing the work. 90 days. Proof. Finish a beginner certification if it's available. Publish a simple portfolio site. Apply to 10 roles or pitch 10 paying clients. Secure your first paid deliverable. Put study blocks on your calendar like a class. 5 hours a week minimum, non-negotiable. No Netflix until jar time is done. God is not in your excuses. I'm waiting on God. No, God is waiting on jars. Stop saying there are no opportunities while your hands are empty. YouTube is free. Library cards are free. Community workshops are free. Score.org mentors are free. Practice is free. None of this requires a loan. Your effort is not the opposite of faith. It is the evidence of it. Bring me jars. Many, not a few. Why this now? Because increased income is jet fuel for your snowball. An extra $500 to $1,000 a month from sharpened skill and negotiated pay can turn a 3-year sentence into a single-year testimony. Same plan, faster timeline, shorter sacrifice season. Your children don't need a burnt-out parent, they need a prepared one. Fill the room, close the door, pour, sell, pay, live. Start tonight. Choose the skill, map 30/60/90, block the hours, and begin your first lesson before you sleep. I will meet you at the jar. Step 6. Your children need a new normal. Hear me. Kids inherit what you normalize, not what you post, what you practice. If the liturgy of your house is panic, secrecy, and swipe now, figure it out later, that is the catechism you are handing to their souls. If the liturgy is planning, patience, and finish what you start, that is the freedom they will speak without trying. By wisdom, a house is built, and by understanding it is established. By knowledge, the rooms are filled with precious and pleasant riches. Proverbs 24:3-4. This is not just about numbers. This is about the language and rhythms that fill your rooms. Order is oxygen. Chaos is a chokehold. Break the cycle by changing the culture. Here is the command. Establish a weekly money meeting. 15 minutes, non-negotiable. Same time every week, like church. Short prayer. Lord, give us wisdom and self-control. Then agenda, not drama. Review the budget, plan versus actual. Name the wins. We canceled 3 subscriptions. That's $48 a month back. Check the scoreboard. The debt list on the fridge. What got smaller, what's next? Declare the next target. Minimums on all. Maximum on card A until 0. Clarify roles. Who is logging expenses on the fridge sheet? Who's posting the item for sale? Who's meal planning? Preview the week. Birthdays, field trips, irregular expenses, so surprises don't become swipes. End with one sentence together. In this house, we plan first, we tell the truth, we finish. That's your liturgy. Language forms identity. Replace "we can't afford it" with "it's not in the plan." One shames, one guides. One says, "We're poor people." The other says, "We're planners." Add the follow-up. Let's put it on the list and save for it. Create a visible wish list on the fridge. Shoes, a day trip, a birthday. Give each a target amount and a date. When the envelope or digital sinking fund fills, you buy it guilt-free. You did not lose. You waited. That is stewardship. That is contentment. Speak the truth, each one to his neighbor. Ephesians 4:25. In this house, money truths replace money myths. Age-appropriate transparency is training, not terror. Little ones, 4 to 7, 3 jars, give, save, spend, quarters in the jars. Celebrate drops in save, like touchdowns. Teach waiting as worship. Middles, 8 to 12. Make the grocery game, $100 cash, a list, and unit price math. Let them find the better price and keep the change for a family treat. Teens, 13 to 18. Open a simple checking account with you on it. Require a budget before a purchase. Match a portion of what they save for big goals. A car, a class, so they learn leverage the right way. Train up a child in the way he should go. Proverbs 22:6. Not with fear, with skills, with stories, with systems. Guard the tone. No shame at the table. No blaming sentences that begin with "you always." Facts, not fangs. If someone slips, confess it, correct it, continue. We don't hide, we decide. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Order is the peace you keep coming to me for. Build it into the week, make it visible and celebratory. Keep the debt list posted with boxes to check. When one is paid, highlight it in green. Eat pancakes for dinner and tell the story. We closed leaks, we focused, we finished. Children remember celebrations more than lectures. Tie joy to obedience, not to impulse. Start now. Put the first money meeting on the calendar for this Sunday night at 7:30. Set a 15-minute timer. Pray short, review, decide, assign, speak the liturgy. This is how houses change. Tiny, timely, truthful meetings stacked week on week until patience becomes normal. And when the culture is set, we strengthen it with protection. A wall. Because without a wall, one storm pushes you back into chains. Next, we build it so relapse is no longer an option. Build the wall. Hear me. A small emergency fund is a wall. Without it, the storm will push you back into chains. You close the leaks. You set the order. You are striking the smallest debt. But one nail in the tire, one copay, one fridge that quits. And without a buffer, you are right back under a card, paying for today with tomorrow's peace. That's not a test from me. That's poor defenses from you. The prudent sees danger and hides himself. Proverbs 22:3. Wise people build shelter before the rain. Here is the command. While you snowball, you will build a starter emergency fund. Small, achievable, fast. For many, that is $1,000. If your world is tighter, single income, old car, babies in the house, make it $1,500. If you're scraping and gasping, start at $500 and hit it in 30 days. Then press on. This is not your forever number. This is a wall high enough to block the first wave, so your momentum survives. Precious treasure and oil are in a wise man's dwelling, but a foolish man devours it. Proverbs 21:20. You will stop devouring every spare dollar. You will keep some on purpose. Priority order so you don't get cute. Minimums on every debt, maximum on your smallest target, and simultaneously fund the wall until it hits the chosen number. Then you pause contributions to the wall and pour everything back into the snowball. Not perfection, protection. Don't stall the war because you're trying to build a castle. Build a wall, then finish the fight. Automate it. Tonight, open a separate savings account. Boring, no card attached. Nickname it Wall. Set an automatic transfer from every paycheck, even if it's $25. Whoever gathers little by little makes it grow. Proverbs 13:11. Consistency over heroics. Sell 2 things this week. Post the photo tonight. Funnel the cash to wall. Tax refund? First $500 to $1,000 goes to wall, then back to the snowball. Overtime check? Same rule. You are training your hands to store like the ant. Proverbs 6:6-8. Storage is not fear. Storage is faith with foresight. Define emergency so the wall stays a wall. Emergency means unexpected, necessary, and urgent. Car tire, not concert tickets. Broken water heater, not weekend getaway. Medical copay, not a sale that ends tonight. If it protects work, shelter, or health now, it qualifies. Everything else waits or gets planned. When you use the wall, you refill it before you resume extra attacks. Brief pause, restore the bricks, then back to the snowball. This is discipline, not drama. Watch how peace changes your posture. A flat tire becomes an errand, not a crisis. A doctor visit becomes a receipt, not a relapse. Your weekly money meeting shifts from fear to focus because you built a refuge. And when consumer debt is gone, you will raise that wall 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. Because Joseph did not save for a day, he stored for a famine, Genesis 41. That's when you stop surviving and start multiplying. But tonight, build the starter wall, open the account, name it wall, set the transfer, list the item, hit the number, keep swinging. I will meet you at the brick. Step 8, hear me, freedom is the floor. I did not rescue you from Pharaoh so you could camp by the Red Sea and frame the receipt. I brought you out to bring you in. The master came and settled accounts, and the servant who buried his talent out of fear heard this verdict. You wicked and lazy servant. Matthew 25:26. Burying is not humility. It is disobedience dressed like caution. I do not reward storage that refuses stewardship. I reward multiplication. Here is the biblical posture after the chains fall. First, increase your giving with joy, not guilt, joy. You sow bountifully, you reap bountifully. 2 Corinthians 9:6-7. You were stingy because you were scared. Now you will be strategic because you are free. Decide a percentage. Put it in the plan. Automate it. Put seed in the ground on purpose. Second, raise the wall. Fully fund 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. If your income is stable and 2 paychecks are in the house, target 3. If income is variable, you're solo, or you carry others, target 6. This is not hoarding. This is Joseph wisdom. Store for famine so harvest isn't devoured by drought. Genesis 41. Park it in a boring high-yield savings, hands off unless it's danger to work, shelter, or health. That wall turns storms into speed bumps. Third, invest what remains, not vibes, a system. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. Proverbs 21:5. Start where free money lives. Get every match in your workplace plan first. 401k, 403b, TSP. Then open a Roth IRA and set automatic contributions every paycheck into low-cost, broad market index funds, total market or S&P 500 plus, a slice of international. If eligible, load an HSA for the triple tax win and invest it long-term. If you're self-employed, ASEP IRA or solo 401k is your tool. Same principle. Automate, low-cost, diversified, regular. This is not timing. This is time. Little by little, month by month, rain or shine, your feelings don't get a vote. Diversify because I told you to. Invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. Ecclesiastes 11:2. That is not Wall Street wizardry. That is weatherproof wisdom. Spread your risk across funds, across accounts, across time. And hear this, I also commanded you not to depend on one income. Build at least one additional stream that does not require a loan. Service over sizzle, skill over swag, clean houses, mow lawns, tutor algebra, photograph weekends, edit videos, manage social media for local businesses, bookkeep for contractors, mobile car detailing, pressure washing, freelance writing, handyman work, pet sitting, childcare. Pick one you can start this month with the tools you have. Price it fairly, publish an offer, ask 10 people directly, book the first job, deliver with excellence, ask for a review, repeat, cash flow it, no credit. No excuses. God multiplied the oil she sold, not the fantasy she posted. Order the sequence so you don't drift. Give with joy. Finish the full emergency fund. Invest automatically every paycheck. Build the second stream. Then, as capacity grows, add a third, not chaos, cadence, and keep your hands clean. The Lord detests dishonest scales. Proverbs 11:1. No cutting corners, no under-the-table tax evasion, no scamming. Integrity is the infrastructure that keeps multiplication from collapsing. Self-control remains your walls. Generosity remains your compass. Why all this? Not ego, legacy. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Proverbs 13:22. Options, not obligations. Your children inherit time with you because business income bought back evenings. They inherit wisdom because you taught them to plan, to wait, to invest. They inherit seed because you planted trees you will not live long enough to shade. That is holiness with a calculator. Tonight, not next quarter, you move. Decide your giving percentage and schedule the transfer. Calculate your 3 to 6 month wall number and set the auto draft. Open the Roth IRA if you don't have one, and choose a broad index fund. Turn on 401k contributions to hit the match. Pick one side stream and text 10 prospects before you sleep. Freedom was the floor. Multiply what's left. Diversify your streams and build a legacy that outlives your name. I will meet you in the harvest you planted on purpose. Hear me. Your children do not have to inherit your anxiety. They do not have to inherit your late fees, your "we'll figure it out," your shoebox of bills. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Proverbs 13:22. That is not just money, that is mastery. That is wisdom, habits, and holy patience, wrapped in dollars that do not demand their souls. Inheritance means they receive options, not obligations, seed, not scarcity, a story of faithfulness, not a file of fear. I am not teasing you with a verse. I am commissioning you with a mandate. Build it on purpose. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are not destined to be broke. You are commanded. Build with clean hands and disciplined habits. The Lord detests dishonest scales. Proverbs 11:1. So keep your dealings straight. He who gathers money little by little makes it grow. Proverbs 13:11. So keep your cadence steady. Faith without works is dead, and a dead faith cannot produce a living legacy. He doesn't reward wishes. He rewards obedience. You prayed. I answered. The blueprint is in your hands. Now walk it out. Here is your marching order in one breath. Sit down and count. Write the budget. Close the leaks. Cancel. Negotiate. Sell. List every debt, smallest to largest. Snowball it. Minimums on everything, maximum on one. Bring jars. Skill up. Sharpen the axe. Raise your income. Hold the weekly money meeting, 15 minutes, truth and tasks. Build the wall, starter fund, then the full 3 to 6 months. Multiply and diversify. Give with joy. Invest automatically. Add streams with integrity. That is the path from survival to inheritance. Not prosperity gospel. Not name it and claim it. discipleship with a spreadsheet and a schedule. And now, tonight. Not next year, not after the holidays. Tonight you write the budget, every dollar on paper before it moves. Tonight you list the debts, names, balances, minimums, due dates. Tonight you cancel one leak, subscription, upgrade, unused feature, gone. Tonight you choose the first target, the smallest balance, and you write its death date on the fridge. Then you set the 15-minute money meeting on the calendar this week, and you keep it like church. This is not hype, this is holy. Your obedience tonight becomes their options tomorrow. I am not asking you to be perfect. I am commanding you to be consistent. If you fall, confess it, correct it, continue. Your children will remember your finish more than your fumble. They will learn contentment by watching you wait. They will learn courage by watching you negotiate. They will learn faith by watching you plant, even when the field looks dry. They will speak a new language, plan, patience, finish. Now go. Build the inheritance, cash and counsel, wisdom and wealth. Share this with someone whose children are paying for their parents' decisions, and tell them the exile can end with them. Subscribe if you want the blueprint, not the cliches. Step-by-step truth that builds towers, not quotes that build feelings. Pick up your pen, open your accounts, make the call, send the text, plant the seed. I will meet you in the freedom your children will call normal.